Hello Skyliners, welcome back to Super-Duperville, episode 39, Industries and Food. I'm Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming, thank you very much for joining me. Today we have 5 goals ahead of us. Number 1, we got some preliminary stuffs, is what I'm calling it, in the industry land area. I want to widen the zones and put some extra roads, tips I call them, tip roads. I want to straighten out the park and put down some commercial industries in the area. Number 2, we're going to put in our forest industry. I fell for you, lumberyard. Play on words, I love it. Number 3, we're going to put in our farming industry. Where's the beef farms? And here's a little clip to bring you up to speed if you've never heard Where's the Beef.
It certainly is a big bun.
It's a very big bun.
Big fluffy bun.
It's a very big fluffy bun.
Where's the beef?
Some hamburger places give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper or Big Mac. At Wendy's, you get more beef and less bun.
Hey, where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
All right, I love that commercial. That little old lady just kills me. Number 4, or an oil factory. So I want to put down some additional factories that are going to process the raw materials for both those industries because they're filling up very quickly. And then number 5, storage for all. So now that we're going to be producing 1 or 2 end products out of each industry area, I want to be able to have storage units to put those items in. All right, so no more farting around. Let's get to it. So the first thing that we're going to start off doing here is we're going to expand the zone lines, and you can kind of see that outer lined edge there, and that is the actual industry land zone. But then within that, obviously I'm laying down industry areas to satisfy the 4 different types: ore, oil, forest, and farming. So I want to expand these out because some of the buildings, when you go to put them down, will say that they're outside the area because some of these buildings are very large. So to counteract that, I just decided to push out the edge here. Forgive my anal retentiveness here about making sure that everything is perfectly straight. I don't know why. I have got to have this stuff absolutely perfectly straight and lined up and exact, and there's absolutely no reason for it. I could be sloppy as hell and it gets the same thing across. It's just something I cannot stand and I can't let it go. I gotta have straight lines. Yes, that's what I suffer with. Thank you. Okay, so you're not gonna see it here in this episode, but one of the things I did off camera prior to this episode, and I was gonna do it within it, but I had already saved a game and kind of screwed up the process of doing that, is the entire industry land area is now flat. I picked a height, I believe it was 150 units in height, using the landscaping tools, and used the level tool, and I leveled the entire area. So everything is the same level. The reason I wanted a nice flat area for this particular city, well, I guess we'll call it, is because of the unique factories. And the unique factories that we're going to start putting down either next episode or the following episode, they are very, very large. So when they span over this 40 by 40 squared areas, they go underneath, they almost always hit a hill or a ridge or a dip. And so they're looking terrible. And I was like, okay, I was trying to adjust the land, and I spent a little time off camera throwing some of these down to see what they look like, and just to get familiarized with them. And I'm like, oh my God, these look terrible. So I wanted to make sure I went back in and flattened out the area just to give myself a fighting chance of sanity and not go completely insane. So yeah. So my crazy need for exact edges here continues and goes on for quite a while. So I'll let you guys listen to a little bit of music until I get back and stop this silliness. Okay, so I noticed as I was putting some of these in that around the mountain edge there and along these upper sections that the land wasn't pushed back far enough to be nice and level as well. So just going back through and cleaning that up, especially this top right corner. In the top right corner, we have to put in a cargo hub up here because I wanted 2 cargo areas coming out of the city. So I wanted this area to be decently flat but not crazy. So all I do is I lower that side down. We use K-Light's sloping tool, electric tools, and use the sloping mechanism, which you just basically left click on every single node between 2 points. And when you get to the last point, you hit enter and voila. It gives a nice sloping mechanism for the area. And then I just go back with the level tool and clean everything else up as you've seen me do in some other spots here. You'll see this cargo hub go in probably next episode or the one after that. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it. But that train line is actually not going to go to the right. It's going to go to the left and go up along the river. So that'll be a fun one to put in. Now I'm putting in what I call road tips. They're just 10 units deep. They are the 4-lane road with median. And the purpose for this is to give our trucks a fighting chance. So when they're coming out of a process facility or a refinery, they can only turn right. Wherever they're at, they can only turn right. So this gives them an opportunity to go to that next intersection and spin around and go back left to where they might want to go if they have to get there. So now I'm just going to drop in commercial squares on every single intersection corner. And I only do this on the interior. See there, I'm not going to the exterior of the city to do this. It's only on the interior. And these aren't going to go down right away. They're not going to populate right away because there isn't a large demand for it. There is, if you look down there right now, there's like 42% demand for it, but that's going to drop off here real quick. And it's not going to be these going in. I've also gone off camera and put in some residential and commercial over in Super-Duperville. So that's going to draw down as soon as I start the game. That will draw the demand down, and these will not populate. So I want to make sure I got the commercial zones down. And then as I was putting those in, I noticed, oh geez, when I flattened the area, it also flattened these pedestrian crossings. So I want to make sure I jump back in there and did that. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean this area up a little bit. And there was nothing wrong with it necessarily, other than where that road was directly across from the passenger train terminal. People were walking across the national highway or expressway there. And they're not supposed to be able to do that at all. And even if I turned off pedestrian crossing at that intersection, pedestrians are still walking across it. So I was like, well, I have a solution for that. We will just move the road down the roads where they cannot walk down the sides. And we'll fix them good. We'll fix them pedestrians. Stupid pedestrians. Anyway. So I just jumble around a few different assets here. Try and clean them up a little bit. Space them out a little bit so that they're a little bit more spread out. And drop in a couple extra things just to clean it up. So nothing special here. One thing I do, I was going to say doo-doo, and then I was going to have to laugh, and I said doo-doo, so now I got to laugh. I said doo-doo. I slow down the road there coming in, and then I go use the node controller after changing the speeds and everything like that and restricting some cars in the area. Especially this little section here, I remembered that you could expand the crosswalks where they go. Now, if somebody crosses on the left side of that intersection, they're still going to kind of walk across the road, like in the middle of the road there. They'll just cross. But for the most part, hopefully this will deter them from doing that, but we'll see. Yeah, some of these nodes do not show the crosswalks when you put them in. Other ones do. Some of them don't. You'll see it here that those show but other ones don't show, and I don't know why, but whatever. So, all right, so that's all of my goal number 1. Here I'm just going to drop in the names for the 2 new industry areas, and then we're going to go in and put in our starting, whatever you call them, manager house or whatever it is, just to establish the industries for the 2 areas. And I'm going to start with the farms, and I think what I'm going to do here, what I end up doing is putting in a dirt road, I think. Yeah. So I just put in a dirt road across the center here, and the reason I decided to do that is I didn't want the dirt roads going right out to the roads on the outside. I decided if I put it on the inside here, these are small enough that I can put these areas down and all the trucks will stay on the inside and they're gonna not be causing traffic issues on the outside. I was like, all right, that'll work. What the heck? So I figured out the distance and figured out that I could put 3 of them across there. There's 4 different crop types, not counting the greenhouse, which I'm not going to use. So I got the 4 different crop types that I can put into these 4 different quarter sections of the same crop type. So we'll eventually put those in, but for starting out, I only put down a few of these. And then of course I want to put in the workman's barracks for ore and oil. Currently we have 4 of these buildings, so I'm going to put 4 of these down as well. And I think I come back at the end and I actually put in some storage for, that's the farm maintenance building, by the way. I put in some silos down to store the grain that they're going to be making. I realized this after I put this stuff in place. So the advantages of that we have here with putting the farm and forestry businesses in place here, they're already level 5 back in Stutopia. So these areas have advantage of level 5 material that I can put down, which means that they are going to build up really, really quick. What I'm doing here is I'm just doing some calculations as to how wide that unit was. I finally figured out that it was 12 units wide. So I wanted to figure out how many I could put in the area without having to put them down and start moving them around, wasting money. So my point was earlier that being able to do level 5 businesses is really going to increase the output for these facilities. So they're going to be able to do a heck of a lot. So I'm only going to start off with a few of these, and then we'll come back and fill in the rest after we get up there. But I have a very strong feeling that these might actually catch up to or exceed our ore and oil industries. It's very possible because these guys are cranking out a heck of a lot more product much faster than the other ones. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So as we talked about, I wanted to increase the production output and then put down some new facilities. These ones I just put down will create glass, and the other ones are creating metal. So I want to put down a couple of those. And also for the oil industry, I want to increase our petroleum production. So we put down a 3rd one of those. And then we also put down some facilities that produce plastic. And that's what these guys produce, is plastic. So 3 of each of those, they'll produce up to 5,000 or something like that, 5,400 a week. We'll see how that goes. Now for the warehouses, and this is the last step, but I think 2 more things after this. Oh yeah, I want to move these to the outside just to make room for warehouses on the inside. Because what I end up deciding to do here, I wanted to use the large warehouse, which has the largest storage capacity, obviously. And I was thinking, where do I want to put these? Do I want to put them on the inside, outside, along the backside? And I started looking at this main highway going through, and I'm like, why not put it there? Yeah, a truck is going to pop out there and possibly stop at that location, but really, he's not going to be causing that much of a traffic jam. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put them out there. And I said, I like the idea of having 2 of them there because every industry will produce 2 things. For ore industry, like we just saw, they produce metal and they produce glass. So I need a warehouse to store each. Forest industry produces paper and plain timber. The oil industry produces petroleum and plastic, and the food industry or the farming industry produces animal products and flour. So what I decided to do is in each one of these corners, because I started to realize that these production areas don't really require as much space as I thought. I thought that they were going to use 4 or 5 squares to put down everything I needed to produce, but it turns out that they don't. So, and all I do here is I set them all to fill, and I set them to the particular industries that are at the bottom there. These two I'm able to put together, or I'm sorry, on this side I'm able to put them together, but if you saw over there, on the ones closest to the farmland, I put the farm products, and the ones closest to the ore, I put the ore products. Is when I realized that I need a place to put some of my raw produced forestry stuff. So I just put down one of those. I figure out another building to put down here for these guys. I think. No, actually I think I skipped this because I just needed that place, yeah. Which I already had. That's when I remembered, oh yeah, I should put down some big silos. So this is it. Put down these big silos and we're done. Donezo for this episode. Aha. That was pretty quick. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode as we take a look around our 4 industry areas starting to take shape and starting to take form in the industry land zone area city / whatever. You got a really nice shot here of how it's really nice and flat, and you can really tell that. I'm going to work on the mountains over at the bottom right there, clean those up a little bit so they don't have such an obvious man-made impact there. But if you like what you've seen, please drop a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And until next episode, which we're going to continue to work in this area, this is Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming, and I appreciate you watching. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.